What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It has been a while since we have made a video. It has been a long while, but we're back, and today we are talking about this bad boy. This is the Blackmagic 6K Pro, and this is the rig that I have built for it. I've been working on this build and just kind of refining it and trying different parts and just figuring out what works and what doesn't, and just trying to get my setup exactly how I want it. Okay, so now that we've got the rig completely broken down into all its pieces, it's time to start building. So we're going to start off with the body of the camera. So obviously, we've got the Blackmagic 6K Pro. The 6K Pro has some awesome new features on the old 6K model. So you've got the tilty screen at the back, obviously. Just means that I don't need to run a secondary monitor on it, so it saves a whole heap of space. It's super bright and yeah, much better than the old 6K model. We've also got all our inputs on the side here. I like to leave the doors off them, except for the HDMI one, because obviously I'm not running an external monitor on this. So I just leave all those doors off just so I have access to them all the time. And obviously this camera has internal ND filters as well, so you've got 2 stops, 4 stops, and 6 stops, which is awesome. And this is the Blackmagic Pro battery grip, and this is going to be our battery solution. The battery on this is still not great, so the fact that we can have 3 batteries running at the same time with this battery grip is absolutely awesome. It keeps it nice and compact without having to run something like a V-mount battery or something bigger. V-mount batteries are great, and I will use it with this rig on occasion if I'm doing a big long shoot where the camera's on tripods and we're doing green screen and stuff like that, but for the most part this will last a long time and you just swap out the batteries as you need. So to start off the build, we're just going to put the battery grip onto the camera. Awesome. So there we go. Now moving on to the base of the whole build, which is really the tilter cage. And this cage is awesome. I'll see if I can give you a look there. There we go. Tilter has done an awesome job with this cage. There's a few features that really stand out. The main feature is that it can be used with or without the battery grip. So it's a full cage when you are not using the battery grip on the camera, but it's only a half cage when you use the battery grip. But what I've done is I've actually taken a hacksaw to this because I like the feel of a full cage and having the metal on both sides of the camera. Usually you would not have this. You would just have this part here, which is your half cage, which is awesome. But I wanted some more mounting options and I wanted the feel of the full cage, so I ended up cutting this part right here. It had a part extra here, so I just cut that off, and then that just sits on the edge of the camera there. It's pretty sturdy, it's got a little bit of play in it, but not enough to notice, especially once it's locked in and on the camera. And then we've got on the side here, we're using the small rig T5 SSD holder. I like the small rig one just because it's easier to put on and off. It's got the spring-loaded clamp, and it's just, you can pull it straight out and put it straight back in, whereas the tilter one you kind of had to undo the screw and slide it out, and it was a bit of a tight fit. So we also have an extra little mounting point here, and that's also from small rig. So let's put the cage on using this little tool here, also from small rig. This build can be put together with only a flathead screwdriver, which is super easy. 1 screw in the top and 2 screws in the bottom, and we're looking good. So now we have the camera inside the cage, and you can see the part where it's been cut off just here. There's still a little bit of play, but not enough to be worried about. Now moving on to the lens, my favorite lens for this camera has to be the Sigma 18-35, but the lens we're going to be using today is the Sigma 24-35 f2. Now the reason we're using this is because the 18-35 is actually on this camera right now that you're seeing me from, but I would usually use the 18-35. Let's go ahead and put that on, like so. Now the next thing to go on is the rails. We have two small rig rails. They're the carbon fiber ones, and they've been cut down to size by me to make sure that they're the exact length that I need them. So they can just go in now. Bit of a tight fit, tighten them up. Now the next part to go on is the follow focus. We have the tilter mini follow focus. Small rig also have a small mini follow focus. I find the tilter one is better built, so we're just gonna go with that. Make sure it's on there nice and tight, right in the middle, gears line up. Now the next thing to go on is the top handle. This is the tilter top handle. It comes with the cage. Awesome handle, nice and ergonomic, easy to slip on and off. So that just slides in the front. So you can see the build start to come together. Next thing we need is this Polar Pro adapter ring, and this goes on the front of the lens. This is just so that the matte box fits on the front. Next up we have the Polar Pro matte box. This is the Polar Pro Base Camp model. Obviously the Blackmagic Pro has its own ND filters built in, but it's only 2, 4 and 6 stops. So if I ever need to cut out more light, or if I need maybe half a stop of light out or something like that, then I can slip my ND filter into the top of the matte box and I can use that instead. We're using a 1TB Samsung SSD. That just slots in the side here, like so. We're also going to add some cables in now. This is the USB-C cable for the T5 SSD. One of the great things about this setup is that you don't have to have cables running to like a V-mount battery or some kind of other battery setup, and you don't have to have all these electronic things going on. There's only really 2 cables that you need for the whole rig to work together. One being for data going to the T5 SSD, and this one here, which is a mini XLR to XLR, and this is for our audio. Plugs into the side there, and the final piece of the puzzle is the microphone. So we have here the Sennheiser NKE600 microphone. This is probably the best shotgun microphone I have ever owned. I've tried the Rode ones, I have tried Ceramonic, I have tried Deity microphones. They are not the same. If you're gonna buy a microphone, just buy the Sennheiser and be done with it. So we'll slip that on the front here. This dead cat is from Rode, just to stop the wind when I'm out and about doing run and gun type stuff. And in. So you can see that our cable management is really tight. I just looped it around the back of the SSD. These cables don't really get in the way at all when you're filming. Usually I would have my right hand on the grip and my left hand on the follow focus. So you're never really touching around this area, so that can all stay nice and clean and hidden away. The setup is perfect for run and gun type style shooting, but it can handle anything. Being the 6K Pro and being able to shoot 6K RAW, this thing is a beast, and having all of the things that you need, like the follow focus and great audio from the microphone and the flexibility to cut out light using the internal ND filters and the Polar Pro matte box, make this an awesome rig to work with. If you have any questions about the pieces used in this build or just the rig in general, then feel free to leave a comment below and I will answer as soon as I can. Thanks so much for watching guys, and I'll catch you next time. Peace!